let us carry on here. So, you know, don't pay too much mind to the people who were staring us down, continuing to do so. Now we should be able to go into the medbay area. I think we saw was over here. Yes. I think we have found everything else in the other areas thus far. And this is the only thing we have left, so maybe it's time to save. But then let's proceed.
Restricted area. An active patient file number is required.
File 7364.
Access granted.
Okay. We're in. What's up, dude? Don't mind us. Okay, it is significantly brighter in here for whatever reason. Makes it look a lot less gloomy. Okay. Anything of significance here? Any more tours that we can go on? What is this? Oh, well, I mean, I suppose it is. It is a medbay. Oh, there's definitely stuff in here. That might be enough first level. It is not enough first level. We are extremely close to leveling of this, I'm certain. Door is locked. So, I mean, I guess we examined the body over here. Not over here, but just double checking. See if there's anything else. I mean, I guess we see what the whole deal is about this, because that doesn't bode well. Oh no. Oh no.
Is that Garneau?
Don't tell me he's about to rise from the dead or something.
We came a long way for nothing.
If you are looking for Garneau, you have found him. I am Dr. Garneau.
I'm Commander Shepard of the Alliance.
Is this our guy?
Are you all right?
Everyone else here's
Yes.
pretty messed up.
Only I'm trapped in here.
Can you elaborate on that?
What's been going on in this place?
I was doing my research until the incident.
They attacked you.
It's true. But aside from my confinement, I'm fine.
Okay, you certainly seem more sociable than everyone else that we've encountered. Still, giving off a little bit of the robot-y, zombie-y vibes, but not quite to the same extent. I mean, this is the person we're looking for, it would seem, so, I mean, we'd like to get you out of here in that case. Why are you confined in the first place?
Bryson's research led me to you.
Bryson sent you?
He's dead, Doctor. Killed by his assistant.
I see.
I need you to tell me everything you found on the Leviathan. Bryson seemed to think it killed a Reaper.
It's a myth. A dead end.
But what about the artifact you mentioned in your message?
Right.
I did? No.
Yes, Doctor, you did. But now we've got Reaper forces attacking, so I need to break you up. We'll grab the artifact and go.
Reapers. The darkness must not be breached.
The darkness?
Why do you pursue me?
Okay.
Leave the artifact. You will not take what is mine.
He is not himself. This is not Garneau we are talking to.
You killed a Reaper. I need your help.
You bring only death.
Definitely not okay. Meanie? We did level up for what it's worth, but we gotta chase this guy. Come on, Shepard. He's getting away. That's not good.
Someone has cut the power.
I mean, we're not gonna be able to bypass this thing? I'm guessing that means we're not.
Leave this place.
Okay.
Wait. We need to get to that artifact before he does.
He said it was in the mines.
We'll need to find a different route.
Okay. Guys, get out of the way. Please, up the ladder, Shepard.
Garneau's notes gave us a nav point for the artifact.
The map indicates a service door at the next tram station.
Looks like we're not the only ones headed that way.
Of course not. Wherever we are, always expect an 80% chance of Reapers.
Garrus with the latest weather forecast, and it does look like he is correct about that. We have some husks here. Curious to see if we still have Garrus with his armor-piercing ammo active after all this time. We had a long period of time in which we were not directly fighting anyone. We do have husks kind of just chilling here. I would like to cross this thing. Thank you. Okay. That's something right there. That is something. SMG recoil system, which is actually an upgrade that we are currently using on our SMG as well, which is pretty nice. Okay, guys, we gotta go though. Is that a ladder? No, that's just... Was it? Hold on. Can we climb this? Oh, we can climb this. Okay, there we go. Whoa! Hello, husks. Nice to meet you too. There he is. Oh, except it's not that easy. Okay, what do we have here? Now things get a little more complicated than just the occasional husk. We have a Ravager. Scout things out a little bit here. There's like something up there, potentially, like an item. But the Ravagers, they're going to cause a bit... is that two Ravagers? One right behind the other? It seems like it. Okay, let's try to target this one. And I imagine might not be the only enemy that we're going to find here. So let's get the one in front with a warp. I can't really tell which one we hit. Okay, well, we definitely hit this one because it's damaged. Okay, well, Garrus will annihilate them. So that's definitely helpful. And it's not just Ravagers. There are also Marauders here. So that does complicate matters a bit. Why don't you Dark Channel while we're at it as well, Javik? And we'll detonate. Might have missed the preferred target, that being the Ravager there. So Marauders are a little complicated for us because of the shields. So Garrus, if you could like overload them real quick, that would be fantastic. Upper balcony up there does look like one spawned in there. Okay, so I mean, at present we are kind of just pinned here at the way back of what appears to be an actually rather large battlefield. So it's currently working out for us, but just a little wary of how if someone does rush us down, we are pretty much limited to just that way that we came from as our only escape route. I imagine they'll probably come from this side, so let's bear that in mind. Something else down here? Oh, that's a Swarmer. That's one of the remains of the Ravager we took down. Something landed there. I'm hoping it's not a Ravager, but it's probably a Ravager, because that would mean it might have some solid line of sight on us.
Watch our flank.
Yeah. A little concerned about that flanking aspect. These guys are also getting a little more dodgy than I would like them to be. Did that hit you or did that not hit you? I feel like you dodged that. Do feel like you dodged that. I actually don't remember if Dark Channel still primes on shielded enemies or not. Might be about to find out. It did. It did detonate. Okay, so that's good. It should take you out. Oh, yep. There's the flank. There is the flank that we were warned about. Okay. Garrus can take out the shields. Which means now we can singularity you. Which means we can now get rid of you. Is there anyone else coming up from up there, though? Yes, there is. Okay, so Garrus is still on cooldown. It's a little problematic. Ooh. Waiting for Garrus to get off cooldown so we can get rid of the shields there. You're about to go down. Why don't we just get rid of you? Okay. And Singularity is already there. Probably about to expire, but we can do that quickly enough, so that's great. Husks. Okay, that's new in that we were fighting Marauders before. They're theoretically easier than the Marauders, so I guess we'll take that. No defenses means we can just hit them with this. Oh, that missed. They are quick, though, comparatively speaking. But with no ranged abilities, not too much of a threat. What do we have this time, though? That's a Banshee. That's a Banshee, which is, of course, the big bad enemy that we saw in the Asari Monastery mission and on Priority Thessia. And so that was why, although we did start Leviathan, technically, the very beginning of it, before we did Priority Thessia and before we did the Asari Monastery, I deliberately did not go on to immediately check out and find Dr. Garneau because I knew that we would, in that case, spoil the great Banshee reveal in the Asari Monastery mission. But, that's all on the side. This has immediately become the most threatening enemy here, and it is a huge threat because we do not, I repeat, absolutely do not want this thing to get anywhere near us, otherwise it becomes a humongous threat. So, we have to deal with it very quickly. It can move quickly if we give it time to power up a bit here. So let's hit it with that Dark Channel, which is really good against Banshees. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to bring Javik on this mission with us. So let's have Garrus target you with basically everything. Javik is going to Dark Channel you. We're going to warp you. Garrus, continue to shoot it, preferably. Because it's gonna do its jumpy thing. It's gonna do its jumpy thing. Fortunately, we might have dealt enough damage to it that we have... So what happens, and I realize that we actually have not really talked about this much because we took down our previous Banshees pretty quickly. What happens is that... Whoop! I got off that for a second. So, the Banshees will do their scream when they first spawn in, usually. Then they'll get this kind of almost electricity-like effect around them, and when they do that, they're more aggressive. They will actually teleport towards you pretty quickly at that, a series of short-distance hops, and we've seen them do that before, and if you deal enough damage to them, then their electricity effect will go down, they'll get stuck in place, they'll do another scream usually. That's what we're seeing right here, and then it's about to follow up with one of its ranged attacks, which is a heat-seeking warp-like projectile, which we've also seen. Fortunately, I don't really think we've been hit by one before. Let's keep it that way. There it is. Okay, and then if it gets hit by... Oh, there's two Banshees? That's a second Banshee. Oh, that's a second Banshee. If it gets hit by enough powers, then it will create a larger electric-like effect around it, as we're seeing here. And that is actually a shield that prevents it from getting hit by most abilities. Okay, now it went away, though. I believe, for what it's worth, I was commenting about there seemed to be an item up there before. That, I believe, is a heavy weapon, and one that would be useful right about now. Did Garrus reach god level? In theory, Garrus has ascended to godhood, and so hopefully we're about to witness that here. So we could use that kind of assistance right about now. I'm really hoping this projectile does not loop around and hit us. Don't think it did. Okay, that Banshee is dead. And that was in large part because, yes, Garrus did the dirty work for us. So what we're going to do is we just primed this Banshee with Dark Channel. Then we're going to detonate that prime with Warp. And in doing so, also give it a debuff. See, we've already frozen that Banshee in place and dealt half of its HP and more than that because we got rid of its barrier and its armor. So it has a layer of barriers and a layer of armor as well. It's dead. I had to duck behind cover for a second there so that we didn't get hit by its warp projectile, but yeah. So, combination of us debuffing it with warp and doing, because when we do that with warp, it makes the Banshee take extra damage from any other source of damage. Detonating that as well for a chunk of damage from the biotic explosion, and then Garrus following up with shooting his Typhoon. Very effective.
Okay, let's find that artifact.
Okay. Still see about a husk back there. And I hear what sounds like a Ravager. Those explosion-y sounds. This is where the Marauder was trying to flank us from before. This cover is weird, for what it's worth. Yeah, that is definitely a Ravager that I'm seeing. Right there. Not sure what it's shooting at. It's almost like it's shooting at the husks. So I don't really want to get caught out in the open here, where the Ravager is going to start hitting us and dealing boatloads of damage. But we've got these gaps, lots of ammo here. But we've got these gaps that we're presumably going to have to jump across. Awkward little bits and pieces of cover, but not really one large area of cover, so let's prime you guys, the husks, blow you up, like so. There's still that Ravager somewhere over there. Plenty of ammo. Just want to confirm as to where I believe there's a heavy weapon over here somewhere. Make sure that Ravager doesn't hit us in the meantime. Just like taking cover facing the enemy. Like, these are... Can we hop over this? Hop over that. Can we hop over this? Yes. Okay. Can we hop over this? Yes. Ah, here it is. The Reaper Blackstar. So this is a heavy weapon that I believe we saw on Monet when we were fending off the Reapers and first met Garrus in Mass Effect 3. So we could have used this to fend off the Banshees. We opted not to. We technically can't save right now, because I'm assuming since there's this Ravager right here, we actually have a decent line of sight on it right now, but technically, for whatever reason, we can't shoot at it. So maybe we'll save this, or maybe we pick it up, and we just don't use it yet, and try to remember that we are currently holding a heavy weapon that we don't want to casually use when it's not really needed. Like, for example, don't use it on this single Ravager that's just hanging out by itself. So we can probably deal with this without using the heavy weapon. Okay, so Garrison, Javik back here, are they still hanging out over there? They're still hanging out over there. Why don't you guys move up a bit? And then, as this Ravager has now noticed us, I was gonna say. It is quite close to us. It is also sending its swarmers after us, which is unfortunate. That throw hit one of the swarmers, which, I mean, swarmers are actually surprisingly dangerous, for what it's worth. But, still. The source of the swarmers is the Ravager.
Right away!
Garrus, mind finishing this guy off for us? Well, we'll just do that. Alright, that's prime. This is to detonate. There we go. Okay, now just clean up the swarmers. I think they're dead. I think they're dead. Can we save now? We can save now. Let's do that. And we might have discussed this before, but technically this goo we see here where we destroy the Ravager, it does make it so that you take damage over time if you stand in that, so just be careful about that. Obviously, it doesn't last that long, and once you notice that it's a thing, you probably are gonna no longer do it, but that requires that you notice it. Okay, so we got some experience. I think we leveled up. We did. So we can fully upgrade Shockwave. We should be able to do this. So the question is, do we go recharge speed to improve our cooldown from 3 seconds to 2.62 seconds? That's actually not the same recharge time we were seeing before. I wonder if, does the heavy weapon actually have weight? Does the heavy weapon decrease our cooldown time? Because we were looking at something like 2.4 versus, it was like 2.46 seconds recharge, and then if we upgraded it here, it was going to be 2.29 or something like that. I mean, either way, it's a pretty darn small improvement. Lifting Shockwave is, it's a weird one. It's a weird one. Technically speaking, usually I think Shockwave is purely a biotic detonator. Might even be a universal detonator. Don't quote me on that. Might be able to detonate other types of combos. But the lifting Shockwave suspends targets in the air for a short time. Does it tell us how long? Don't think it does. But that makes it function somewhat similarly to something like, say, a lift grenade that Javik has. I think it has the same sort of restrictions where it doesn't work on shielded enemies, or armored enemies. Or barriered enemies. But for enemies that have just health, you can lift them up and prime them, much like you would with, say, a Singularity. It's a little less reliable, generally speaking. So, I mean, don't really think it, and it's only relatively temporary. Does not have the same duration, I don't think, as a Singularity does. For that reason, it's not generally regarded as much of a true priming ability, as much as just a silly way to, if you want to mess around, fully upgrade your skill. So, I mean, as small as the recharge time may be, we honestly might just want to go with the recharge speed. Okay, so that's good. That means, at this point, we've basically now as of this moment, upgraded Shepard as much as we realistically need to upgrade Shepard, ever want to upgrade Shepard, because all we have left is pull. And talk about abilities with really fast recharge times that we don't really care much about. Changing this from 1.66 seconds to 1.51 seconds is going to be completely unnoticeable with how quick that is. So basically, by the time we're finished with the animation, we're off cooldown already no matter what. So we can throw additional points in this once we level up again. Once we get another level after that, maybe we'll still get up to rank 3, and we can increase the duration. That might start to be a little more significant, but for the most part, pull is an ability that we're just only using for taking out Guardian's shields and not much else, so that's why we deliberately saved that one for last and may not upgrade it much further. Same could be said for Javik's full ability. He's 1 point away from being able to afford his final upgrade here for his passives. That stinks. Okay, what about for Garrus, though? For Garrus, we should be able to afford either Proximine or Concussive Shot. For Proximine, this might be the way we want to go. Concussive Shot does give him some crowd control. In some ways, Proximine does as well, however, so that might be the direction we want to take. So for him, it's an option of either increasing the damage, and 600 is not insignificant. I mean, it's not like grenade levels, but it's only slightly below that. Or alternatively, increase the radius. 3 meters is definitely a little bit less than a grenade. 4.5, probably still slightly less, but it's getting close at that point. So what is our preference there? In that case, Garrus, generally speaking, his thing is single target damage, and just doing as much damage as possible to things like Banshees, as we recently saw. But maybe that means that we can use Proximine to cover for his weakness of not having a lot of crowd control options available. So maybe for that reason, we have this go the radius route here. But if we do need to take out, or at least stagger multiple enemies simultaneously, Garrus has at least some way to make that happen. The recharge time, still an astronomical 16 seconds, so that is pretty painful, but for Garrus, he's not useless when his powers are on cooldown because he has so much weapons damage, so even that's perhaps not the end of the world. And I think we're good. Why don't we save after doing that then? Okay, so, anything else here? Pistol Cranial Trauma System. That is headshot damage for a pistol, and we cannot get headshots with the Acolyte because it is a projectile weapon. So it is not useful for us, nor is it useful for anyone using the Scorpion, which also is a projectile weapon, and therefore also cannot register headshots. But for more standard shotguns, or rather, more standard pistols, it might. So let's see. What do we have through here? That doesn't look good.
What just happened?
Looks like the door's power supply has been cut.
There are the trouble spots. The drone can repair it.
We'll need to escort it.
But the drone is damaged. Its power reserves are limited.
Let's make it quick then.
Okay, so this is going to be very similar to what we saw earlier inside with this drone. We need to stay within this circle, this radius. Otherwise, it will not continue to progress. And this should look familiar for you Mass Effect 3 multiplayer people. Problem is, we're not done here, because we have some people spawning in to make matters a little more complicated. Our cover is kind of awkward here, to be honest. It's a little bit higher to this side, it seems, where our head might be safe, whereas from this angle, our head does very much seem exposed. So that makes me a little bit nervous. Does make me a little bit nervous. But for the Ravager, why don't we Dark Channel it and warp it? Try to get rid of that as quickly as possible. See the drone shields? They do automatically get reduced over time. So if you're slow, then you're gonna pay the price a bit there. And the other thing is that, well, of course, I believe... Oh, that was the world's worst grenade throw. Javik's will immediately target whatever is directly in front of us. Whereas ours... Ooh, goodbye, Marauder. Whereas ours will have a bit of an arc to it, which is why that did not go so well for us. 50%, I think I heard it say. Okay, looks like husks over here. That's comparatively easy.
One repair done. One to go.
Okay, one repair done, actually.
Hold on a little longer.
Understood.
Okay, so it's Over here. Moving in. Oh, ooh. That's a Marauder. Garrus, please and thank you. Okay, what else do we have? We have Husks here. Oh, and a Ravager. That's kind of nasty. Okay, let's do this. And then this. And then, Garrus, if you could target it. So we need to move up closer, because right now we are not in the radius of this drone. So it's not going to progress while we're over here. But right now, walking forward while this Ravager has clean line of sight on us and is shooting missiles is a death trap. So this is why we cannot do that right now. Might even be worth... I know that... But it was not safe. Ooh, it's still not particularly safe, to be honest. Okay, let's do this. We have at least a tiny little bit of cover here, but the drone is not picking a great place to go right now. Okay. Any additional enemies coming at us? Does seem like it. At least I'm hearing them from behind us. It's a Banshee. It's a Banshee. So, this is where things get more complicated, because, of course, as we said previously, the Banshee's the strongest enemy we have seen outside of maybe Ravagers from the Reapers thus far, and it's closer to us now than it was before, so we do not have quite as much time as we might have previously had to take this out before it rushes us down. Garrus is on cooldown, which is unfortunate. We can Dark Channel it. It'll scream at the beginning here. Let's warp it. And then this is likely what we're going to want to use our heavy weapon on. I think. Garrus, this is not where you want to be standing. I can tell you that much. That much I can tell you. And try throwing our grenades at it. Hope that the bounces still hit it from there. I'm right next to the drone. It's close enough to do its thing. Oh, someone hit it. Someone definitely hit it. Okay, Javik, why don't you? Oh, no heavy weapon needed. Unless they have more Banshees where that one came from. Okay, it's starting the repairs. Still need some time to finish them, though. Any more enemies, or will that be all? Just casually doing his thing.
Let's head back. Door should be online.
Okay. I think we're good. I think we're good. Let's make sure there aren't any nasty surprises hanging around out here. If there are, then we technically still have our big heavy weapon here to deal with them, but rather not get caught right out in the open like this if there's a Marauder or something like that. Or rather, a Ravager. That'd be really nasty. So yeah, that Banshee that spawns behind you can be a really nasty surprise if you're not prepared for it. That's one of the reasons why not using the heavy weapon, the Reaper Blackstar, on that first wave that has two Banshees might be useful. Obviously, there are two Banshees in the first instance, so twice the Banshees, yes. However, they spawn in a little bit further away, and you have more of an opportunity to be ready and in cover, whereas in that encounter, you could very well be right out in the open, not in cover. Banshee might spawn quite close to you, in which case, you might not have much time to deal with it. Okay, but I think we're good to continue here. Maybe we save once again?
The darkness cannot be breached.
This doesn't look good.
Artifact, it's like in Bryson's office.
Lots of husks.
Move! I've got a shot.
Whoa, dude. Do not press.
Damn it.
Commander, come quickly.
What have you got?
That human was not the one called Garneau. This is, and he's been dead for a while.
So, Leviathan can have Bryson killed, can take over this colony, and he can use them as puppets. Huh. Anything else useful?
Encrypted data. There is also a personal log with 8 missed calls from someone named Dr. Ann Bryson.
And Bryson.
Hmm? Bryson is the name of the initial doctor we
Who
encountered
are you?
on the Citadel. What?
What are you doing here?
I'm Commander Shepard. Are you alright?
I think so. I feel strange, but all right.
Okay. We have a lot of questions for you. What's been going on here?
Can you tell me anything about what happened to you?
Not really. I remember it just seemed cold. I remember a feeling cold and dark.
If dark was a feeling, that's exactly what I felt.
Okay. What about this artifact that seemed to be here? At least until this fake Garneau exploded it.
That artifact. Do you know where it came from?
Came out of the mine. Right. Head office was supposed to send someone. That's about all I can...
All you can... what? Did you know Garneau? Because it seemed like everyone else that we encountered had never heard of Garneau, didn't acknowledge his existence, didn't even realize that he was on this station, even though he passed by, apparently, a week ago.
Do you recognize this man?
I've never seen him before in my life.
Someone here killed him.
Someone here. How is that possible? I'm so sorry.
Okay. I think we should go.
Cortez, what's your situation? Can you bring the shuttle?
Affirmative. Strangest thing. A couple of minutes ago, the Reaper forces broke off and left.
What?
Reaper. What's a Reaper?
What year do you think this is?
2176.
The game has tabbed out.
2176 was 10 years ago.
What?
Let's arrange for these people to be evacuated into temporary quarantine.
If these people have been out of it for that long, they're in for a shock.
They thought the date was 10 years ago. So that would suggest that's how long they've been in that crazy trance-like state.
The power to take down a Reaper, and possesses the ability to indoctrinate.
It certainly looks
Do
a
you
lot
think
like
it
indoctrination, yeah.
actually is a Reaper?
Is it a Reaper? I don't know, but Javik is right. There are certainly a lot of similarities. For sure, and that means we want to know more.
If it is a Reaper, then I want to know what it's up to. How long has it been out here? And more importantly, why? Edie, did we get anything from Garneau's notes?
Yes. They suggest that Garneau created a way to block the artifact's mind-affecting properties. The artifact seems to be the key.
Agreed. When I head back to Bryson's office, I want you there.
Yes, Commander.
I want to know just what the hell these artifacts really are and what they can do.
Whatever they are, they're too dangerous to have around.
And we've got one sitting right in the middle of the Citadel.
We do? Okay, so we're back from a very significant Leviathan mission, it seems. Garneau is dead, but we've learned what appears to be some of the Leviathan's capabilities that seem to be quite Reaper-like.
Commander?
No updates from Trainer, nor any email updates. Not sure if our squad mates will have any reaction to that mission. They may not.
Commander.
Leviathan's mental restraints are odd. My AI shackles served similar purposes, but why add sensations of darkness or cold?
Alright, so that is true. Edie certainly has something to say about it. So we heard them say it felt dark and cold. And so if the Leviathan is capable of doing some kind of indoctrination, then why does it leave people feeling that way?
How's the ship holding up, Edie?
The envelope of mass-free space we create when we travel at FTL limits any impact of micro-collisions with ambient dust. Nevertheless, some ablation does occur at subluminal speeds. Normandy will need maintenance before the year is out.
If we live that long, I will totally spring for it.
Hello, Shepard.
Alright. Let's head out and, I mean, maybe the rest of the crew has something to say about that. Obviously, Edie was weighing in at the end of the previous mission about what the implications might be about the Leviathan. So it might make sense if she's the only one who has anything to say about it, but others may still have more. Going here, there are no squad mates here, but I am curious. We did recently unlock several war assets. Usually we just do them in big chunks, check for them, but I was intrigued. I was curious to see. So we got the Volus Dreadnought, Kwunu. This was a new one from Planetary Scanning, and we thought, given how it's a Dreadnought, it might be worth a lot, and 50 points, that's pretty big. Volus have only produced one Dreadnought. It's their single Dreadnought. The Kwunu, named after the diplomat who negotiated their client race status with the Turians. Kwunu is the only Volus ship of its class, but it is remarkably well armed. Its broadside cannons and main gun are all Thanix magnetic hydrodynamic weapons. A Turian general, touring the Kwunu after its maiden system voyage, enthusiastically declared that the ship could char a planet 3 times over. I guess that's a compliment? While its construction was funded entirely by the Elkos Combine Corporation, which is a Volus corporation, the Dreadnought was jointly gifted to the Vol Protectorate and Turian hierarchy upon completion. Okay. So that is a pretty big pickup. Then for the Alliance, we did get a little update. Was it on here? Or is it elsewhere? Still seeing the new showing up. Alliance 5th Fleet, an update here. This is one of the ones that I think has gotten many updates. I think it was this one right here. Some smugglers were surprisingly helpful to the Alliance by finding desperately needed military equipment. Yeah, this was the one that we enabled at our Spectre terminal. That we had some questions as to whether these smugglers would be honorable and actually help us out, or if they would try to sabotage us and backstab us and what have you, given how they're smugglers. But it looks like, at least at this stage, it's been fine. Still something else that's new here, though. Ah, the Syn Diamond heat sinks, which are worth 25, but this was also from Planet Scanning. Synthetic diamond is a key ingredient in military-grade heat sinks that are used in computing, high-end thermal clips, and starship weapons. Liberating tons of it from facilities on Brez will help both ground and space forces. Good. Okay. Getting close to 7,000 war assets, which is certainly nice, but we're not there yet. Still have a little ways to go. Okay. Why don't we do a quick check to see if others have anything to say?
Commander Shepard.
Oh. I don't think that was really anything specific with relation to the most recent mission, but I think it's fairly unlikely, so we'll do a quick check. No one chatting in here. Anything from Ashley?
This Leviathan thing can just kick you out of your own head?
It does seem like that.
What's worse, killing people outright and making them suffer like that.
Yeah, you know, it does certainly seem as though it could be quite cruel and unusual, given how apparently it can possess people for 10 years? That's pretty extreme. Aquas?
Take care, Commander.
Not really anything new from her. Garrus obviously was on the mission with us. So we'll see if he has anything to say in that matter.
Strange stuff back on that asteroid. We've seen indoctrination before, but 10 years. Leviathan had its own private army. You've got to wonder how much longer that would have lasted if we hadn't come along. Just when I thought we were getting a handle on Reapers, this happens. Maybe Leviathan's more than a bullseye.
Yeah, bear in mind, from what we've heard about indoctrination in Mass Effect 1, from Saren, in fact, I think might have been the one to tell us this, that the effects of indoctrination are such that either the Reapers can quickly and aggressively indoctrinate someone, and if they take that rapid approach, yes, they will gain a lot of control quickly. However, that is not a sustainable, or at least a less sustainable way for them to control someone. The quicker they try to indoctrinate someone, the more rapidly their mind just decays and they become a useless husk of sorts. Whereas if they go the more slow and patient, subtle indoctrination, it takes longer for them to have any sort of significant sway on the individual that they are trying to indoctrinate. However, they can control them for much longer, and generally speaking, also means that this individual's cognitive functioning is going to be better. So, I say this because for the Leviathan to have possessed someone for, not just someone, numerous people, an entire facility, which I think we read on the entry before we went to that facility, was over 100 people, controlled seemingly all of them for 10 years? And sure, they seemed very robotic and zombie-like, but they were, dare I say, at least coherent? So that would suggest, perhaps, this indoctrination effect is more potent than even that of the Reapers. And that's a scary thought.
Maybe later.